you asked the question earlier in the week, how would your team perform when the shots didn't go down?
Right.
Just kind of what's your quick evaluation of how they overcame that?
You know, I thought we put ourselves in a really good position, you know, there when we got that lead in the middle of the second half. And, you know, you're going to go back and watch. The things that stand out to me are you just can't allow good players, no matter if they have a great percentage, low percentage, just to have open shots. Like they just got 2 or 3 threes there in that stretch. We kept letting guys, you know, drive that right seam and get in there. I thought Iowa played really hard. And sure, we were careless with the ball. I didn't think we were consistent tonight from a fundamental standpoint, just clean passes. I thought we were too cute with our passes, and we just had to be simple and make fundamental plays. I know that sounds hokey, but what it comes down to, you know, we just had too many turnovers. We had an advantage, obviously, on the glass, but give Iowa a lot of credit. I thought Iowa played hard for 40 minutes. They made it difficult for us. Even they kind of weathered those stretches, and then they really got back into the game with that press and having active hands.
What should your team learn from the last few minutes, both almost letting it get away, but then also closing it out, the good and the bad?
Yeah, anytime you can get into it, as a coach, you want to get in as many close games as you can if you can win them. Obviously, you don't want to get into close games and lose them. But if you can get into them and win them, I think it really helps you. You know, the end of the North Carolina game, the end of the Villanova game, the end of this game, all of them were different. This was definitely the most physical game we've played so far. I thought Iowa was very physical. I thought they were, you know, constructive in what they were doing. They had a game plan. They don't, you know, Jordan Bohannon doesn't affect the game scoring-wise, and Keegan Murray, the leading scorer in the nation, doesn't play, and they're in that position. I think that's, you know, hats off to Fran and his staff and those players. They just played hard and they competed, and but for us, we were able to get a couple stops and make enough free throws and then just weather the storm. So I think it helps because you're going to get back into games like that where it's those pressure cooker type games, especially when you've had that lead. That happens in basketball a lot. You have that lead, and now the other team doesn't feel it like you feel it because you're the one that let that lead get away.
Coach McCaffrey said he didn't want you guys to be able to lock the ball up and set up your offense. And you mentioned the success that they had with their press. But would you expect to see more pressure from other teams moving forward? And was this a learning experience for you guys in a way?
Yeah, well, I thought they did a good job with it. And at times we did a good job handling it. But even when they don't turn you over, they're still trying to take some time off the clock right there. So you, like he said, he's trying to stop us from just being clean, getting into our stuff. And then we got to be able to make better decisions from that. You know, Florida State, you know, came at us and pressed us and made it hard for us to catch. And now Iowa, you know, has done the same thing. And even though we had a better game against Florida State, we scored better. Everything always looks better when the ball goes in. Now we didn't score as well against those guys, but I think they had a lot to do with it too. But yeah, I would expect somebody to watch that film. But you got to be able to do it. Like, you know what I mean? This is what Iowa does. You know, this is what Florida State does. Now, some teams that don't do that, you know, if they try, they're probably not going to be very good at it. But the teams that do it, there's no question that they'll pick up the pace. This is a good, I told our team, I said, this is a really good learning lesson for us. Most times in basketball, when you learn these lessons, you lose. You lose. And so hopefully we've learned a hard lesson here while still winning.
But Matt, when they got down to 2, they failed to score on their last 5 possessions. How much of just hanging in there in the last couple of minutes was a benefactor of having played the schedule you already played and have been through that already?
Yeah. Well, you know, you like to, as a coach, you want to always prepare your team, but you also want a schedule that fits your team. And I think we have that. I think we have a good team. We have a good schedule. But yeah, anytime you can play in those games, that's why when you look at, you know, some blowout wins that you have, like, how does that really help you? But as a coach, you know, you love the blowout wins. You know, like, you don't want to sit there and be nail biters every single game. But yeah, we've been in those situations before in a couple games. Maybe not quite like that, but we've still been in those close games. I definitely think those help you. As many times as you can get in those close games, I think all those experiences really help you.
Mason gives you 12 points on 3 field goal attempts and a bunch of big rebounds, lots of fouls, a big 3 he made there. Can you just speak to the spark you got from him from an effort perspective and productivity?
Yeah, I thought he was great. You know, he took the things that came his way, and Kept some balls alive, got some 50-50 balls, knocked down a couple threes. You know, the shot he misses is a point-blank layup. You know, so he has that, but he put himself in that position to get that. But no, it was great to see, especially, you know, for him being out and now, you know, kind of coming back to have a game like that. But I thought Travion was great on the glass. I thought he needed to be more aggressive in the game, trying to score the ball. You know, when they come in doubling pass, you know, the one thing about when he gets in those situations is when he gets too far out, now when they come on that double, he can really pick some people apart. But the deeper that you get, you know, when you post up out, you're not going to get as many free throw opportunities. When you get deep, you really put them into a bind. But we just got to work with him on getting him deeper and getting him in a better position. But I thought his ability to rebound was huge tonight.
Coach, I asked Travion about leadership, and I mean, the guys came together. I watched Travion kind of calm Zach down early in the game, but when the game got tight at the end and your guys prevailed, what did that show you for leadership on your team?
Well, I think for the guys that were in there, like, you know, it got a little sticky there, and they were able to weather the storm and, you know, make enough plays. You got to make your free throws. You got to get stops. We still had some breakdowns late. We had one that they was fortunate they missed it. But no, it's, you know, we have a lot of experienced players, and like we've said, you know, it's, you know, who starts, who doesn't start. You had a lot of people finishing the game tonight that don't start, you know, and so we have more than 5 starters, and that's what a true team is. But no, I was proud of them, you know, across the board for being able to hang in there. But I also thought Iowa played harder than us. I thought Iowa was tougher than us.
Matt, how do you think this team is going to deal with being #1 in the nation, with everybody patting them on the back and everything
Right.
between now and Monday, and then before going after Monday?
Yeah, well, you know, time will tell. Like, I think this has happened to a lot of people that have been ranked, you know, high early in the season. It doesn't mean they end there. You know, our goal is to end there, to be one of the better teams going into the NCAA tournament and then making a long run in the NCAA tournament. But we know how tough that is. But, you know, that's your job as a coach, you know, to try to stay process-based and get those guys to function a little bit better than they did tonight. We just have to be, you know, more fundamentally sound and stick to our rules. We got off our rules defensively on a couple easy things, and then offensively we're too cute with the basketball.
Coach, obviously everybody's talking about the offense and the scoring just wasn't working out. What did you take from the game from the defensive side from the Boilers?
I thought we were just okay. To be frank with you, I felt like we were just okay all year, to be honest with you. We really scored the ball well and done some good things. We have to get better defensively. We have too many lapses. So like you want to get a team that you feel good about offense, defense late in the game. You know, you sub for offense or sub for defense and you go back and forth. We got to get those two-way players that you feel good about and really make hard decisions for the coach. Like that's the best thing in the best way that we could, you know, kind of go forward, is having a lot of people you feel good about who can take care of that basketball but also defend. But our defense will be good in stretches, but then we're just not consistent enough. I know I'm sounding like a old crusty coach here, but that's just my opinion. I am, yeah.
You are.
I appreciate that.
Hey, just from a technical perspective, what did your guards, but also everybody else, need to do better against the trapping?
Not throw it away. Like when times where guys were flashing, when you're dealing with 2 people and you have the basketball, like you got to get the ball out of your hands, but people have to present themselves to you and flash and go into the open area. Like they have to be with somebody. So if I go and double you, then now I need to cut to an open spot because my man has left me and went to you. If my man doesn't, I need to get up the court and drag him and give more space to people who play. And like we'll have guys that their man will leave them and they won't move. So the guys with the ball up there, but people aren't coming to the basketball to help them. And then when they stretch it out, like you see when they stretch it out and then we can get the ball to J.I., then he just takes off. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, he's got world-class speed. You know, it makes everything look foolish. But if the ball doesn't get there and they really zone off well, you just got to be able to pass and catch. Like we made some good flashes, and then in the first half, like we made 2 or 3 really good flashes, then the ball gets deflected. But if we can just complete that pass, now we got, you know, a ways wide open, downs wide open, but you got to be able to pass and catch and make that play. I don't think it was anything that they've done before. Like they did the same thing that they've always done, that we've always prepared for. We've had some struggles through the years, but then we've also been great against it at times. And they've been able to press us and then we just been able to get stuff right away, and they go off of it. Then there's times where they've pressed us and they've been successful like they were tonight. You know, you just have to have better guard play and be more fundamentally sound. But it's also not just the guy with the ball, it's other people have to come and help.
What was the explanation on the Isaiah Thompson elbow that didn't hit Bohannon, and how did he end up shooting free throws in that?
They said it was a cylinder. They said so he was in a cylinder before
Okay.
that happened. I didn't ask if it hit him, didn't hit him. Obviously, if it would have hit him, I guess they would have been shooting free throws too, right? But the cylinder comes first,
Okay.
so that was the call. But since we're shooting free throws, I could have cared less about the explanation.
Well,
Okay.
I
So
just,
you think they're gonna get 2 free throws now, you get 2 free throws, you're like,
it went from,
I wasn't gonna change their mind.
it went from a foul on Isaiah to him shooting free throws, right?
It's a hell of a concept.
Hey, Coach.
But I think that's what the ruling was.
Can the old crusty coach explain that to you?
Yeah, I didn't officiate this game.
Hey, Coach, update on Isaiah. He took kind of a nasty fall in the first
Yeah.
half. How's he doing?
Yeah, and you know, that was kind of the reason I kept him out of there a couple times when he made good decision and he had to burn it. And he would normally just would have got by the guy. You could see you couldn't get by him because of it. It looked like a hip or when he fell hard right there. So, and then what's harder for somebody who gets that kind of an injury, then they got to sit out longer. But Eric was really tired. I went back to him. He made a couple free throws when he went back in, which was huge. But it was just tough for him after he got banged up. That's why I kept him out there more than I normally do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.